The red and blue lights washed over my porch like a broken carnival, neighbors holding their phones up as if this was the best show in town. And there was my wife Sarah standing on our steps with cuffs tightening around her wrists while Brenda Lawson, the self-appointed queen of our HOA, grinned like she'd just won the Super Bowl. What Brenda didn't know, what nobody knew, was that the woman she was having arrested wasn't some problem neighbor. She was the sheriff of the entire damn state. 3 months earlier, none of this looked possible. We'd just moved into Maple Grove, carrying boxes up the porch under warm sunshine, kids riding scooters, wind chimes clinking. We wanted peace. I work from home, buried in software code. Sarah. She's gone a lot mornings, nights, holidays. She never brags about what she does. To our new neighbors, she was just Sarah, the friendly lady who watered flowers and handed out popsicles on hot days. Our next-door neighbor, Mr. Jenkins, was the kind of guy who made you feel like family on day one. He brought brownies, told us the street was quiet, that nobody bothered you unless your grass got too tall. Sounded nice, right? Except 2 weeks later, a letter appeared taped to our mailbox with blue painter's tape. "Welcome," it said, with a little smiley face, then immediately threatened a fine because our mailbox wasn't the approved model. The difference: the flag was on the other side. Sarah shrugged, told me not to fight it, we'd just switch it out. Then came the second letter. Our little free library was unapproved decoration. That box wasn't just wood and nails. It was something Sarah and our daughter Ava built together, painted red, filled with kids' books. Take a book, leave a book. Sarah tried to play nice, emailed pictures, offered to stain it to match the fence. Silence. Then a third letter. Our grass was apparently too long. I measured it myself. It wasn't. Still, the threat of fines landed on our porch like grenades wrapped in cheerful stationery. The first HOA meeting sealed it for me. We sat in a stuffy room under a banner that read, "Neighbors First." Brenda Lawson presided like a queen on her throne, sharp nails, sharper smile. She praised holiday lights on one street, then called us out for the illegal library box and for Sarah's car. Section 8.3, she said, no commercial or law enforcement vehicles in driveways. Our car was just a gray SUV, but Brenda's voice dripped with certainty. It was law enforcement use, therefore banned. Sarah smiled softly, said she'd park it in the garage. Brenda beamed like she'd tamed a wild animal. That's when I realized it wasn't about rules, it was about control. And Brenda needed to prove she had it. The letters didn't stop. We got fined for white lights on the porch after Ava's big math grade. We planted sunflowers and were told they weren't approved landscaping. Even Mr. Jenkins got one. His ramp was unauthorized. The man could barely walk without it, and Brenda wanted it gone. Sarah stood up in the meeting, her voice calm but cutting. A ramp isn't decoration. It's dignity. Some neighbors clapped. Brenda shut them down with a look. The next day, we got a registered letter threatening a lien on our house, over a library box. I started to break then. I'll admit it. I lay awake one night staring at the ceiling, thinking maybe we should just give in. Sell the house, walk away before they bleed us dry. Maybe Brenda's right. Maybe we don't belong here. I hated myself for it, but I thought it. Sarah must have seen it in my face. She put her hand on mine and whispered, "We don't let anger write our story. We keep our ground." She made me believe we could fight back without losing ourselves. But Brenda wasn't finished. She wanted spectacle. She got it. At a mandatory meeting, Sarah read Mr. Jenkins's letter aloud, defending his ramp. Brenda slammed her hand on the table and barked for security. There wasn't any. Just two teenagers handing out water bottles. Phones came out. Someone called the cops. We left before it turned into a riot. We were halfway home when the first siren howled. That night, 3 squad cars rolled up to our house. Neighbors swarmed the sidewalks. Brenda stood there pointing like some dictator. That's her. She threatened us. My heart pounded as a rookie officer ordered Sarah to show ID. His hand hovered over his cuffs. Sarah stayed calm, asked for a sergeant. The rookie pressed harder flashlight, blinding her face. She reached for her wallet. Brenda laughed smug. And then Sarah pulled out her badge, the real deal gold state seal, gleaming. Phones zoomed in. The yard went silent. But instead of stopping, the rookie actually cuffed her. Cuffed the sheriff on her own porch. Brenda gasped like she'd just won the lottery. Ava sobbed behind the window. I wanted to scream to shove everyone back to end it, but Sarah gave me a look. Don't. Let me handle this. Then everything snapped. Jenkins, watching from his porch, stumbled down his steps, fell hard, head cracking on concrete. The crowd gasped. Medics were called. In the chaos, a plain black sedan rolled up. Out stepped another figure flashing a silver badge. State Task Force. They ordered the rookie to uncuff Sarah. Brenda shrieked that it was all fake, that Sarah was a fraud. She pushed closer, waving her phone like a sword. The sergeant finally arrived, took one look at Sarah's credentials, and called her what she was. Sheriff Thompson. Brenda's smile died on the spot. But the night wasn't finished with us. A convoy of black SUVs rolled in, no lights, no sirens, just power humming under the hood. Men in suits stepped out, faces, blank eyes, sharp. One of them called Sarah by name. "Sheriff Thompson, we need to talk." Neighbors whispered, phones shook in their hands. Even Brenda backed off for once. And I felt my stomach drop. Whatever this was, it wasn't just about mailboxes and ramps anymore. I thought it might end there. It didn't. Hours later, the same SUVs came back dragging one of Brenda's board members, bloody, barely standing. He collapsed on my lawn, rasping Sarah's name. She knows. The files. Before I could even move, the men yanked him back, called him evidence, and warned me if I didn't cooperate, Ava and I could be next. That was my breaking point. Fear, anger, helplessness, they all crashed together. And then I remembered Sarah's words, "Don't freeze, act." I tore through the house, searching until I found a hidden panel in our old grandfather clock. Inside, a locked black case stamped with a seal I didn't recognize. Files. Proof. Something so heavy it made my hands shake. That's when the pounding started at our front door. Voices demanding we open up, threatening to break it down. Then, glass-shattered masked men stormed inside with rifles. Officer Harris, the only cop who'd stayed behind, fired back, went down bleeding. The men searched for the files, ripping through our home. I shoved the case into a closet, pulled Ava behind me on the stairs. One of the rifles swung up toward us. My heart froze, and then Sarah appeared. She kicked the door open, gun drawn, voice steel. "Drop your weapons." The masked men faltered. One sneered, said she was supposed to be dead. She leveled her aim, voice cutting through the chaos. "That's my daughter you're pointing at." 3 seconds to make a better choice. One of them bolted through a window. The other froze, rifle trembling, then dropped it. Sarah held steady until backup stormed in, tackling him down. And just like that, the power shifted. Brenda's HOA empire. Her smug little kingdom collapsed under the weight of real law, real consequences. She had spent months barking about order, about rules, about protecting the community. But in the end, she was nothing but noise drowned out by the truth. I stood there shaking, watching as they dragged her ally away in cuffs, listening to neighbors whisper in shock. And I realized this wasn't just a fight about mailboxes or lawns, it was about dignity. About how easily petty power can turn cruel if nobody stands up. Brenda lost everything that night. And I learned this: bullies only win until the truth shows up with a badge.